What is good, YouTube? This your boy Aaron.
It's Brian.
And this is the Courtside View Podcast, and we are back today, and we are reacting to week 2 of the NBA season. But before we get to all the games, we have to talk about the elephant in the room, and that is James Harden finally getting traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. And I have to say, from the 76ers side of things, they got a bunch of trash cans, a bunch of old guys. They did get some draft picks. But it's not like they really got any good people back. So I guess the draft picks are cool and everything. And you finally got rid of James Harden. But the fact that you weren't able to get like a Terrence Mann or a Norman Powell, I think that's an L in my assumption, in my belief. What is your take on the James Harden trade?
Yeah, the 76ers I feel like they just said, we're just going to accept whatever, go and get them off the team at this point because they folded on their demands very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
The Clippers was like, we're not giving you Terrence Mann. And the 76ers was like, okay, see ya.
Mm-hmm.
Then they say, we really don't need Terrence Mann. Just give us something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dang, that's just wow.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as the Clippers side of things, the Clippers are such an interesting team. Because every time they play the Lakers, they get like a plus 10 attribute boost across the board.
Except last game.
They still played pretty well.
I mean, they were all right until the very end.
Did you see how many, like Paul George and Kawhi went absolutely crazy.
They did.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'm not really moved by that move for the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you got James Harden, playoff dropper. Russell Westbrook, playoff dropper.
Mm-hmm.
Paul George, if sometimes he playoff performer. Kawhi's the only one who consistently shows up. I can't rely on this team.
Mm-hmm.
And also, this ain't even factoring in the injury concerns.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm not a real big, huge fan of that trade. I guess it'll be fun regular season ball to watch. But got 4 dudes who's ball dominant.
Yeah.
Well, Kawhi's not really too ball dominant, but
No, he needs, in order for him to like really be effective, he needs the ball in his hands. He's not really a move without the ball type of guy. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go over the screen and then I'm gonna catch and shoot. Like that's not who he is. Like,
well, hopefully James Harden's playmaking can create opportunities.
Hopefully it does not. The hell, hopefully
he does. He just doesn't want to see the Clippers succeed. That's you know what? It's fine. Y'all beat them. You should have had nothing to worry about.
They ain't have James Harden. But here's the thing. Before we move on with the conversation, I will say here's the trade package. It was James Harden, P.J. Tucker, Philip Petrov to the Clippers for 76ers receive Robert Covington, Nicholas Batum, Marcus Morris, K.J. Martin, an unprotected 2028 first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, a first-round pick from the Thunder, and a first-round pick swap from the Clippers. So, I mean, they did get a lot of first-round picks back. They got a pick swap, second-round picks. I mean, that's cool. But just, I don't know how Joel Embiid feels about this because a lot of these picks are going to be long time from now, and he's in the middle of his prime. He's at like 28, 29 right now. So by the time these picks are going to be useful, Joel Embiid, he's going to be on the latter years of his prime. So I don't know if that's the greatest thing to have at your book. I mean, I will say though, with these amount of picks, they can possibly trade for maybe a Zach LaVine, maybe go after a player that's disgruntled and is looking on the way out. If they're able to do that, then this trade was a success. But if they're not able to do that, then these picks are kind of useless unless you get a star player back. So as of right now, I mean, the Clippers, they got P.J. Tucker, who's an enforcer. He's a guy that plays defense. And James Harden, obviously, he brings playmaking ability, another scorer, another shooter as well. I just think for me, when it comes to the Clippers side of things, it's too many guys that need the ball. It's too many guys that are Like, it's too much of the same type of thing. And Kawhi Leonard, I love Kawhi Leonard, and he's a very versatile player, but he needs the ball in his hands most of the time in order to be effective. Paul George, he can play without the ball, but in order for him to be at his best, he needs the ball in his hands. Russell Westbrook, we already know Russell Westbrook. He definitely needs the ball in his hands to be effective.
He comes off the bench, so.
Yeah, but like when it comes to closing, another thing, closing lineups. What is that going to look like? Like who's going to be on the floor when to close out the game? Because as we saw against the Lakers, Russell Westbrook was closing.
He won't be anymore.
And you saw what happened when he was closing. It was a disaster.
Yeah, I guarantee he won't be in them lineups no more.
Man, thank you, Russell Westbrook. It's about time you helped us out for once. See, when you were on our team, you were giving the other opponent the victory, but now you're helping us out. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, Russell Westbrook. But anywho, and then you brought up James Harden and his playoff woes. Well, are you going to put James Harden in the game in crunch time like that? It's so much uncertainty when it comes to the Clippers because of just there's too many guys that need the ball in their hands in order to score. Like Norman Powell, he's just a scorer. Like he's not a guy that, I'm gonna be unselfish, I'm gonna pass the ball. Like, dude, I was watching a Lakers game and this man Norman Powell was not passing the ball at all. He was just jacking up shots. Bones Highland, he's the guy that give me the ball. I'm not gonna hesitate to shoot. I'm not gonna pass it out. So this is the problem for me. I feel like the Clippers are gonna have to make another trade. They might have to give up Norman Powell or something because you can't just have all of these guys, all of these scores without any balance. I do like the big rotation with Plumlee and with Zubac, but overall they're gonna need. I think they need more wing depth from a defensive perspective because they lost Covington and Morris, although they kind of are cooked. I'm not going to lie. But I think they do need more of that because you have too much of the same sort of product, and that is the scoring without much else on the other end. So that's just how I feel about the Clippers. I do think that James Harden does bring a thing that they were missing, which is playmaking, which is assisting the basketball. But overall, like, first of all, his comments, I think he said something about, listen, they weren't – I remember he was talking about the 76ers and how they were treating him and the fact that it was taken out of context a little bit, so I will say that. But he was pretty much saying that –
he's not a system player.
He is a system. So, but also he was talking about how, like, they weren't listening to him, like, when he was saying, hey, how about we do this? Like, they weren't – it was none of that. Like, they were just like, listen, go play.
Right.
Like, we tell you what to do and just do it. And don't.
Doc Rivers, ladies and gentlemen.
And that's weird because they label him a player's coach, but him and James Harden sort of
now he's
heads.
in the booth commentating on playing on in-season tournament games.
Right. So, overall, this trade, we'll have to see, but I'm not.
It's definitely a ceiling move for the Clippers.
Yeah, because I think the ownership, they're feeling a lot of heat from the fans, from the media.
I give Steve Ballmer credit, though. At least he's doing something unlike some other owners in a different sport. We'll get to that later.
Yeah, we will. But I will say that they are taking a chance on this. They're trying everything. They've tried so much these past 4 years with Kawhi and Paul George, and it just hasn't panned out. They've just been riddled with the injury bug and stuff. So we'll just have to see on this because I'm definitely going to be watching. It's going to be very entertaining. All right, so let's